The following presentation was recorded live in Los Angeles, California for the 24th Annual Convention of the International Association of Square Dance Callers. This is Tape 20, Standard Choreo versus Extended Applications, Mainstream.
After you have the handouts, if you would, find a chair and we'll get started. That's fine. I've just about run out of the handouts, and I do apologize for that. We've had quite a few sessions. That's all right. We'll get... I'll talk to George and we'll get some more printed. You can get the handouts at the Mercado room where the sign-in is, where the check-in is. Okay, we'd like to welcome everybody. We'd like to get this thing started. We're a little over on time already. The session that we're dealing with is standard choreography versus extended applications at the mainstream level. And it's different versus difficult. My name is Jerry Junck. I'll be your moderator this morning. With me is Jerry Jestin. He's from Canada, Texas, and Yuma, Arizona. There's a lot of us with two addresses. Jestin is the only guy I know of with three. And you can find him in the wintertime in Yuma. But in the summertime, just start calling. And keep trying till you run him down. Both Jerry and I are thrilled that you're here. I'm going to make a short presentation with respect to our topic. When we have concluded, we will open the floor to questions. And again, I caution all of you, please remember that this session is being taped, and we're trying to put together the best of CALLERLAB tapes with regard to some of our educational panels. And therefore, we ask that each of you be sure to put your questions on the microphone so that they get on the tape and that they can be edited and that we have a nice series of tapes to present to everybody. Again, our topic is standard choreography versus extended applications in the mainstream program. We're going to address the issue of different versus difficult. First of all, let me preface this by saying, and I speak for Jerry because we got together the other night and talked about this, both of us feel the mainstream program is the most important program in square dancing. And I firmly believe that. The fact of the matter is, and this was pointed out in the session before, even when calling a plus dance, the majority of your variety for that dance will come from the mainstream program. Therefore, it is essential that every caller has a good understanding of the mainstream program, and in addition, each caller should have an understanding and working knowledge of what are standard applications of calls and what are the extended applications. I would highly recommend you to purchase the Basic and Mainstream Standard Applications book. And that's this book right here that I have. It's over at the office. I purchased one when we were going to do this panel. I went out and purchased one. Quite frankly, I thought I had a pretty good feel for what are standard applications. And in general, I did. But I was surprised by a few of the applications, what they consider to be standard. The book is wonderful. Initially, when this book was put out and when we started to put it together, there was a lot of controversy. People said, well, we're going to, for lack of a better term, dumb down the activity. I have quite the opposite view. I think it's a real help to especially the new caller to let them know what is standard applications. For the guy that's calling a lot, doing a lot of dancers, he understands what is standard. He knows what he can call on a given floor. But for the new caller, it's really a boon. Also, we had quite a few of the foreign callers were opposed to this book because that's not the way they call here. And I think that for them also, it's a great document if they come over here to call because it will give them an idea as to what is standard here. And I think it will make for a much better presentation on their part here in the United States and have them be much more successful here. So I think it's good for everybody. I really do. Yes, Jerry?
I was against that when I first started talking, when they started talking about putting it on. I was really against it because I thought that it was going to water things down. And I've done a complete turnaround after working on this panel here with Jerry. And understanding now that it's just a guideline, And it's not going to be that you're not limited with using the material from other places. It's just going to be a helper. I really believe it's going to be a helper for everybody now along those aspects. And I was dead against it when it first came out. So I just wanted you to know that I will change my opinion.
Okay, now to our topic. Also, let me preface my portion of this session by saying that I firmly believe many callers today call material that is simply too difficult for the average dancer to be able to execute successfully. I firmly believe that. I really do. Let me also say I don't believe we do this intentionally in most cases. Instead, I think we do it because it is the result of the natural progression of things over the last 20 years. All of us have to bear some of that responsibility. And let me explain what I mean. Before CALLERLAB was formed, square dancing was a hodgepodge of calls and definitions, and it really was a nightmare to travel out of your local area to call a dance. Most of the important contributions CALLERLAB has made to square dancing was the establishment of the various program lists. In conjunction with that, the organization identified which calls are on each list, the precise definition of each call, and the various formations and arrangements from which these calls could be executed. We have been 20-plus years agonizing and arguing over these things. However, by spending the majority of our conventions working on choreography, it has nearly become our only focus. It seems as though choreography is the only thing we discuss when we talk about variety. There's so much more to variety than choreography, and if you went to the dance last night that was put on, I think you saw that. I commented at the end of the dance about the fact that it was a mainstream dance, and it had standard choreography for the most part, to be sure there was extended applications of that choreography. But there was so much more variety in it than that. We, as Mike pointed out this morning earlier, we had almost a hot hash tip where Jerry Story came in and used a faster patter record. We had every type of singing call, variety-wise, from rock to a laid-back singing call to a 6/8 time singing call. There is so much more to variety than just choreography. And I appreciated everybody coming out to the dance. I hope you had a good time with it. How many of you, in regard to this choreography for variety, how many of you have heard another caller offer you a piece of choreography and say, this will stop them? Raise your hand. How many? Quite a few hands went up. Again, it seems to be our only focus, and it's a shame, because choreography is just one tool in our square dance program. Years ago, when you would ask a caller what he was doing new, he would show you his new singing call or hoedown. And give that some thought, because I have. 30 years ago when I started, or 31 years ago when I started, that was the thing. I'd go up to ask a caller, what are you doing new? And he'd pull out his new singing call. He'd pull out his hoedown. Don't see that anymore very much. Instead, they will tell you, well, here's what I have for choreography. Try this. Choreography, when used correctly, is a wonderful tool to enhance a dance program. But again, there's just so much more to a good dance program than just choreography. Our topic here is standard choreography versus extended applications. However, I feel we need to address the issue with a look at how both types of choreography fit into an overall dance program. I think too many times we fall into the habit of, especially when we come here, we see a caller get up, Story, an Oxendine, Mike Seastrom, or whomever, and offer us little snippets of choreography or show us some really wonderful thing they have, and we race right home and try to use that. Remember that they use that here in an isolated setting. At an open dance, you have to have the judgment necessary as to how far can I take that. This was neat here, but can I call that at home? Can we call that at home? Maybe not. Or if we do, you can't just go in first tip and start winging all of this stuff. Instead, it will take a dance program. You might work an evening to set up that particular little piece of choreography that they displayed here. These guys that do the festivals and things like that, they have the judgment necessary they also have the program necessary that they would start first tip working up to that piece of choreography that maybe was presented here. Keep that in mind, that it's an overall dance program that we're talking about. My thoughts on a good dance program regarding choreography is that 85 or 90% should be standard applications. And I'll repeat that. I really believe 85 or 90% should be standard applications, with 15 or 10% of the program utilizing extended applications. Don't get me wrong. I believe in extended applications. I believe in their use, and they're a wonderful extension of our choreography. But I think we have to use a lot of judgment in how we use them and where we use them in our overall dance program. First of all, what is standard choreography? And I think that's an interesting thing. My definition is that it is choreography that is danced most successfully by the majority of dancers. It is not the individual calls, but rather the formations and the specific boy-girl arrangements that determine standard and extended. And again, I'm going to repeat that. It's not the individual calls. It's rather the formations and the boy-girl arrangements that I think determine what is standard. These are formations and arrangements from which a caller may expect nearly 100% dancer success. It is formations and arrangements which dictate the degree of difficulty of calls. And that's what we're talking about here. What's difficult, what's different. Formations and arrangements dictate the degree of difficulty of calls. Please understand that calling standard applications also is not necessarily a bad thing to do. There is a tremendous amount of variety to be achieved from just being able to effectively manage the standard choreography, standard formations and arrangements. But as callers, we must also be aware as to what is and what is not standard. And I go back to my earlier statement. That is essential. It is essential that we understand how to program a dance. Furthermore, when we incorporate extended or unusual applications, we need to understand that we cannot leave the dancers in these unusual formations and arrangements more than just a very short time. To do so is to invite complete dancer failure and frustration. Our session today will attempt to demonstrate some interesting variety using standard formations and arrangements without that variety necessarily being difficult. We will also attempt to demonstrate the use of some extended applications and how to utilize them in your dance program. The importance of good judgment is essential in using these routines and using this type of choreography. And we need to remember to, again, keep these routines short enough for dancer success. In order to use extended applications effectively and successfully, you simply must work up to them in your dance program. You can't do it first tip. These extended applications will be further enhanced by the use of good body flow and timing. I firmly believe that if you can set people up with good setups from good starting positions, use good body flow and timing with your delivery, that you can eliminate so many dancer mistakes just by simple preparation. And that's basically what we're talking about here, is preparation. Know what the standard applications are, know what arrangements, what formations you can use them from effectively, efficiently, and successfully for the dancers. Remember, we're not calling for us, we're calling for them. And if the dancers aren't dancing, quite frankly, nobody paid to watch you call. And you'll hear people talk about, well, or callers say, well, this group couldn't dance. Well, they maybe couldn't dance as well as you would have liked to have seen, but they can dance. And it's your responsibility to find out what they can dance and then let them dance that. I really believe we don't call enough to our floor. We call more for ourselves. So that's the sum of my lecture. And I really don't mean to lecture, but it's something I really feel deeply in. I think we call too hard. I don't think we use enough judgment. And that's what I try to bring out on this. I have some things that I'll show in a little bit. And Jerry Jestin, who is my panelist, has some things to show. We believe very strongly in the same things. We are as opposite as two poles, the North Pole and the South Pole. I would be known as Gentle Jerry. he would be known as
Just Jerry.
Dangerous Jerry. He takes things further than I do. Nothing wrong with that. But understand, when he presents some of this stuff that he talks about, he's not talking about doing it also just boom, right off the cuff. He would work half an evening to set up a particular setup. Am I not correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So without any, without any further delay, I'd like to have you give a nice hand to Jerry Jestin.
Thank you. How many of you were here at this session yesterday with Jerry and Tony? How many of you were at the last session with Mike and... I was. All right. Thank you for coming. You've seen it all. I went to the one yesterday because Jerry and I felt like we needed to have a starting point that was not going to be the same. And after I didn't get to sit on the whole thing, but I picked up on some things that I really thought were neat that they didn't catch. And I think we're even going to start with the same move if you were here yesterday. We started with scoot back. And I believe that our standard applications are going to change as we dance now. As we have them there, that we're going to have to review them every once in a while. Because I think that our standard applications resulted from not only what you call and the positions you call them from, but how you teach the move. I'm a strong believer that the teaching part of it has caused a lot of this. And there are reasons why we have that way. And I'd like to just go right ahead and get a square up if I could. Have we got a square to help me out here? Nobody wants to dance for me, I can see. They were here earlier, yeah. You get to go to the next one. All right. Heads, go forward, face your corner. And just to preface that, I use that a lot because I want to get everybody in action right away. And I use that in a pattern at a mainstream dance. There's nothing, I'm not using another call. Everybody understands their corner, and they understand what I said. So that I like to do that. The thing that, let's do a touch a quarter. We're standard here now. I want somebody to help me, and Jerry, you might be the one to do this to start with. How would you go to teach scoot back right now?
How would I teach scoot back right now? The first thing is to get your definitions out and read the definition. The definition reads, the in-facer, and don't move yet, just think about it. The in-facer steps ahead, joins a right hand, and turns right 180 degrees and comes back out to the outside, extends to the outside. The out-facer runs to the right. I disagree with that a little bit. I think it's easier to say this. In-facers extend. Do this. In-facers extend. Out-facers run. Those of you in the center trade and extend. To me, that's a much easier way to explain it. To tell people to turn 180 degrees, I think they have trouble doing that. I much prefer a trade. If I were going to teach it, I would reteach it instantly right here because I like to teach them both. I would say in-facers now are the girls. Girls extend and touch. Out-facers run. Centers trade. Girls. And extend. That's the way I would teach it.
Good. I'll use this one.
Oh.
How many of you all teach it that way? We're not going to get into a debate on teaching.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm not opening that up. So don't. If you're just going to give me another way to teach it, that's not it. Follow me for just a little bit on this. He didn't teach it technically by the definition, but this is a standard application. Scoot back, go. Boys turn. Scoot back, go. Girls turn. Boy, you're good, Jerry. They're doing it all right.
I understand.
Why did that become standard? Why did that become standard and not this? Hinge. For a singing call. Daryl says it's for a singing call. Okay. All right. Now, right here, let's go ahead. Scoot back. Now, we talk about all position, APD, or whatever you want to put it on as being a no-no
to have boy, boy, girl, girl stuff. Or boy facing boy, girl facing girl. Basically, that's what most of you think about when we say that. Do you agree? No? Agree. We ended up with it being a standard setup because it was easy for the caller to cue, past Daryl's thing here, it was easy to say, boys, you're going in. And you give them that helping command. And even the newest person in Scootback could do that. And you'd say, boys, and you'd have to preface it by a right hand. It's the first move that we have in the list that uses right, right, right. Uses the same hand. And if you remember back when you're teaching beginners, I don't care who's going in, it's same sex usually, they go in with the wrong hand. Because we have taught them all the way through the moves now to do an alternate hand setup, all the way through, and then we come and teach them a move that has the same hand setup, scoot back. And they had to use the same hand. Now, these people aren't going to be like the beginners are, but remember back to your beginners. Now, to do this here is hard to cue through for somebody, to help, to give a helper. Because you've got a boy and a girl going in, and by the time you give all the helping hands, they have missed it, if they've already done it. Everybody hinge. Now, supposedly, you've taught split circulates already at this point in the ballgame, and we're standard right now. And I like to teach the move by using a move you've already taught that they know and they can relate to. Jerry started out with an extend, which was the wrong application, not a standard application in this already. So we've already taken them and stretched them to learn a new move from an application we don't know. We're using it. He had a good chance to use, and I thought he was going to use, turn through, those looking in. All right, so we'll do it this way. Girls, you're looking in, you're going to do a turn through. Boys, you're going to do the run. Scoot back. Because we've already taught turn through. Depending on the order you do, but you probably have taught turn through. Scoot back. Boys, turn through. Girls, you're running. There. You had a question in your eye, Daryl.
Daryl Clendenin. What part of it, from Jerry's explanation, hadn't they not learned?
The extend was not a standard application.
Yeah, but you can't
use it from this position. You've got to be a quarter tag is our standard application. Okay, so now, to me, I would go back to teaching this to relate this to a split circulate. We are going to do a split circulate from here. Everybody's going to do a split circulate. Those meeting in the middle, and you are going to have some people meeting, you're going to turn or trade with that person you meet with the easiest available hand in a split circulate. I've taken away all the extras on this now. So now I'm going to say, scoot back, split circulate. When you meet, turn and come back to the same person. I haven't talked about boys and girls now. Hinge. Now we're out of standard application though, because of the way it's set up now. Had we not had this standard application set up this way, I'm not sure that the standard would be the boys and only girls going in if you were teaching this way. All right, we're going to do a split circulate, but we're going to do the scoot back. Those meeting with the inside hands are going to do a turn, a right arm turn. Scoot back. So we're doing a split circulate. We've related it back to something that they already know, and we've helped them. And I didn't have to say who's in the middle, do the turn and come back. And I also don't have to say, remember to use right hands. Because they will, on a split circulate, they won't cross over. So I've made it easier for the people to do it. And I will, at a lesson, that's why I will be able to get them through that more. You want to add anything to this on that scoot back? Question?
Yeah, that's a good approach. The only thing that I would mention is if you're using split circulate, then that means you've got to have 8 dancers, and that precludes being able to scoot back just in the center. So I would say in your own box, outfacers you're circulating, so you can do the box too.
Okay, but it doesn't preclude that. It doesn't. Not by standard applications. If you've checked out the standard applications, the box in the middle is left-handed right now. Okay, so that's right. I agree. I know what you're saying. All right, boys, cross fold. Everybody do a right and a left through. What was the matter with that? Okay, from this position here, veer left. Now, we've gone out of standard already. Again, even though we have the centers in a right-hand box, we have all the girls in there. And so that it still precluded the standard So we have to teach it again and say, okay, now we're working only the girls, and you're working in your own box, which is one half of the split circulate is a box. Thank you. I'll get it. Girls, go ahead, scoot back. Do your box circulate, turn and come back. But we've already gone out of standard applications, and I don't want to get into the argument on the teaching thing. I'm just using this as one example. You don't have to agree with this. If you can use a little bit of it, do.
One observation I'd like to make about standard applications versus teaching. We know that scoot back may be done with the left hand. And I would like in teaching to be sure that we don't say things that make it appear that it can only be done with the right hand. You want to be sure that the teaching terminology that you use is accurate. And that I would say in teaching, this time you're going to use the right hand. Just so, I may not want to show them the left hand, but I don't want to tell them something that implies that scoot back is always a right hand. And that's true. Well, the standard applications are designed for calling. They don't necessarily, in fact, they should not lead you into saying things that are not completely accurate in your teaching.
And you're telling this for everybody's information. Did I do that?
No.
Okay, that's what I meant.
I'm just saying that many callers have had the impression that if it isn't in standard applications, we shouldn't teach it. That's never been the intention of the standard applications. Our teaching should be accurate and complete. What we give them practice with is standard applications so that they're better prepared to dance. But let us not be led by the standard applications into making incomplete teaches.
Jim Mayo.
That was Jim Mayo. Okay, where are we at here in lines? Where's our partners? I didn't even look over there. All right, Ferris wheel. Zoom, center, slide through. Everybody, right or left grand. They are good. They're better than the average square. I know Jerry's going to do some stuff on here. I want to back right down to basics for a minute on standard application and just give you a little bit of food for thought on this. From here now, to be fair, to use anything, I'm going to always be as fair as I can to the dancer. If they're going to make a mistake, and we're going to have fun with the mistakes, we're going to laugh, it's because we're creatures of habit. And we listen to the first word and decide we know what's coming next. And I'm not even really trying to change the call. I'm not starting and slowing down and then changing the end of it. I want to be fair to them. And that means that I'm going to give them every opportunity to win, no matter what I do in standard applications or what. Bow to your partner. Do, pas, so. Partner by the left. Corner by the right. Partner by the left, what do you do? Courtesy turn, unless we have something else. All right, so that's the basic setup. Heads, do a right or left through. And we have no standard application for this, but I love it a lot better. Half sachet. And they will do it if you work with them. Slide through. You're looking at your corner. And I helped them all the way through that, okay? Do a right or left through. Everybody do a half sachet. Pass through. Do, pas, so. Partner. And I want them to say it. Corner by the partner left, what do you do? Courtesy turn. Good. All right, one more on this. Heads, touch a quarter. Walk and dodge. All right. Circle 4, halfway. Veer to the left. Couple circulate. Bend the line. Is that your home over there? We're 0, all right. Okay, I wasn't paying attention. Right or left through. Pass through. Do a partner trade and a do, pas, so. Partner left. Corner by the right. Partner, what left, what do you do? We're back in lines of 4. All right. And it's basically still standard, except that it says we're from a squared up or a circle position. What is an extension of parallel lines? A circle. And we started in the lines and I helped them. Now, even if they don't get it, and you're called to 10 squares, and you've done this, and we said you're in lines, and even if somebody's under courtesy turned and the other had over courtesy turned, we're still in a 0 line. So it makes no difference, and I'll say, gee, the lines don't look all the same as we're moving, and then all of a sudden I'm doing the get out now, slide through, touch a quarter, split circulate twice, look for your corner, Alaman left, back up home. And I'll say, gee, it didn't matter anyway, did it? because the lines wouldn't have made any difference. And they think, oh man, that was great because we did it, and it was standard application on it. Do you want to do some stuff?
I'd like to work that scoot back to show you some standard applications that I like to use with it, and I'm not worried about resolution. I'm just going to call and just have the heads step forward, face your corner, touch a quarter. Again, as Jerry said, this is the most standard of the setups that I know of. And we all do the same thing. Everybody scoot back. Go ahead. Scoot back. If I'm going to call it a dance, I'm going to work that sometime in the first couple of tips that I see if the girls can, in fact, trade in the center and come back. I want to know that. And this is the way I would do it because I've got almost 100% chance of talking them through it if, in fact, they couldn't do it. Again, scoot back. Gets me back what I wanted to do. Okay, now, if I'm going to extend this and use it standard, I've got a wave. I'll say check a wave, centers trade. Swing through. I now have girls facing in, and I don't worry about it. They've already been through it. We've worked them through an ocean wave without having to go scoot back, scoot back, scoot back. Okay, scoot back. Centers trade. Swing through. Scoot back. Boy run. Right and left through. Star through. We haven't done anything but standard applications, and I feel that that gives a great deal of variety to just working girls and boys scoot back. Nothing more than that. I think that's a nice way to work it. Now, you can turn it around. We had both boys and girls coming in. There's all different kinds of ways to set it up. I am a firm believer in body flow for success. Notice I traded people in the center. I've made a real study of watching Marshall Flippo. I think he is the best guy at flow and timing of anybody I've ever watched. And it's because he does three things. His choreography, if you sit and listen to him, is trades, circulates, and folds. That's how he sets up smooth flow. He won't tell you that because he don't know it. He doesn't. He couldn't explain that to you, but that's what he does if you watch Marshall Flippo. And again, just watch what the flow is. Touch a quarter. Centers trade. Swing through. Scoot back. And I've got boys going. I don't have to worry about them having a trouble with a boy-girl. Now, we're out in boy-girl ways, but I have no problem with people executing this type of choreography. Centers trade. Swing through. Girls are now looking in. Scoot back. Again, I've moved them around and never gotten out of my standard choreography. Centers trade. Swing through. Scoot back. Boy run. Star through. Alaman left. Promenade back home. Notice again, I think that offers a lot of variety. And what I talked about in my dance program, I think my dance program should be 85 to 90% standard. That is standard, and yet it is not standard. It's not saying head square through 4, touch quarter, scoot back, scoot back, scoot back. Now, if you want to extend that just a little bit, again, you have to talk about setups and get-ups. If you're going to take people out of normal, out of what I consider standard, you can only leave them out a very, very short time that they will be comfortable. As soon as they become uncomfortable, and it takes just a very short time for that, you're going to see failure because they won't wait for you. For instance, let's set something up to show you what I mean. Heads, step forward, face your corner. That's what I need. Okay. Make a wave. Okay. Now, here we've got a scoot back situation with a boy and a girl turning in the center. And if I'm going to do that, I probably will not call it initially from right here. I'm going to do this first. Swing through. Now, scoot back. Why do I do that? What do I have now? A perfectly normal, ordinary wave, and nobody will mess it up. Almost without exception, that'll work. And if I'm going to do anything else after that, I'm going to say girls trade. To set up some flow. Swing through. Again, got a boy and a girl looking in. That's certainly not what you consider standard, but they'll do that. Scoot back. Again, instantly, I'm normal. And that's what I look for. And it has to do with being cognizant of your setup. Now, if you could do it this way, after I've done it a few times, I wouldn't be afraid to try this. Scoot back. Now you got the hairy-legged ones in the center. But they would do that after initially seeing the other one. That's the way I would work up. Daryl, put your pants down. Yeah. He was checking to see if he had hairy legs. That's the way I work my choreography. I am probably overly cautious. That's my philosophy. And literally I am. Jerry will tell you that. I am probably overcautious with that type of thing, but I want dancers to win 100% of the time, every time.
I wouldn't have called it that way. I'd be scared to call it that way, and only put it in a singing call and swing your corner after the first one.
Yeah, that'd work. Okay. Now, yeah, I know. I figured that. I'm going to put Jerry back up because you have another call. We've worked the scoot backs.
I want to do just can I touch on extended and realize that I was going to work up to it? Just give you some ideas. Hinge, boys run, and boys scoot back, girls dodge. If you do the naming of the Walker Dodger, this is just an extension of it. And that would probably be the first way I'd do it, because I could tell the boys that they're going to go in and I would leave it with the right hand. And yet we've done something completely different. And even if one girl does go the wrong way, somebody would move them into the right position at that point. And again, right now, I'd say boys run. And we're back to standard again as fast as I can get there. And we've done something different. Then if it worked that way, then I'd do this. Do a right or left through. And a half sachet. Girls scoot back, boys dodge. I wouldn't have done it quite there, but because of the flow. But as a tool. Now they of course this square did it good, and the boys had already seen one girl make a mistake, so they weren't going to make that mistake. Girls run around the boys. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Centers. Left square through 3. Now, I'm pushing it now because I'm on the half sachet doing a left square through, I agree. But I wanted a right hand free. From here, girls scoot back, boys dodge. And now that's taking it a step farther, because why is that harder than it was from the lines? Closer together, agreed. Just so you know that. That's why I want you to know why, when it's harder, you should know why it's harder. Girls run around the boys. Veer right. And that's good flow. Think about it. The one who got ran around is sliding to the right. The other person is stepping straight forward. If you went left, you did it against body flow completely. They'll fight you because they're used to going left. And you will work it, and you'll have to pre-cue it. Once you've done it and you're using veer rights, that's great standard material. Couple circulate. Ferris wheel. Double pass through. Put centers in. Cast off 3/4. Do you remember where you were at home? Do you know who you are, heads and sides? Good. Pass through. I just hope you do. Wheel and deal. From this position here, and we should have the boys in the middle. And I would say, of course, all the boys are in the middle. Head boys scoot back, side boys dodge. It was a left hand also. I skipped a step going to the left hand. I've also made them think who they are. Now, I'm telling you, I wouldn't just come in and do this cold. Would I, Jerry?
No. We are, like I said before, Jerry and I are poles apart. We very much agree, but Jerry is a risk taker. I am exactly the opposite. I would work up to that. He will go out there and let's see how far they'll go.
Right. Boys, walk and dodge. Girls, do you know if your heads or sides? Who are my head girls? All right. Heads scoot back, sides dodge. All 8 circulate. Boys run around a girl. Now, this is an exceptional group because they know who they are. again, I did one circulate after that hard one, and I had the boys run, and we're back to a standard setup again. And we all, and we've won if we've got them that far. If they're stretching, I'm going to help them. I'm going to say, I would have given one more command. You're all holding same sex, by the right hand even. And then I would have had the circulate and boys run. As soon as I can, then they're back to normal again. Let's have a new square. Thank this one.
Yes. Could we have a new square? Notice again what Jerry was talking about. Yes, if we could have another square. Several sessions that I've done over the years, I've talked about easy, medium, and hard. That's basically what the standard applications book does for you. It defines for you what is standard, and you work from there what's easy, what's medium, what's hard, and you work that in your dance program. And we do indeed need another square. Can we do that real quick? Yeah. Charge. Yeah. Yes. It would be a lot easier for people to see if we can get some girls in this. Yeah. I understand that. Here come a couple. No, another thing, and that's a good point. Another thing, and I know most callers are this way. I will never embarrass the dancers. I do not believe in that at all.
Anne had a question to me here on what I did here, and I wanted to preface it and also give you an idea. She asked me, why didn't I call boys turn through and the girls dodge? Can anybody tell me why I didn't call that? No, it's not because I was thinking scoot back. The ending position of a turn through is a back-to-back. That's why. Okay, good question. So that goes back to the definition of turn through.
Okay, now just to take another call. Yes, Jim Mayo, please.
Jim Mayo again, and I think I've seen an extension of an extension here, because you also extended the definition of scoot back, which I believe starts from an ocean wave, and here you've stretched the definition a little bit. Perhaps it's useful for us to think of two levels of extending. One is extending the application of the definition, and then the step beyond that is extending the definition itself. It's another way of thinking about it.
You're probably right. You can do it for many ways, though. Yeah, but there wasn't a wave. That wasn't a wave. But if you take the extension of the situation, and I agree with you. I agree, Jim. It's another step. And the reason I do it is because I consider lines, two-faced, 3-in-1, inverted, and ocean waves all lines. I consider it that way, and I teach the dancers that this is just another form of a line, and from the word go. And they don't know why I'm doing it, but it helps later on if you are going to extend.
Okay, and this is interesting. It really has different interpretation. Sure. Another call we use, and the standard applications of spin the top says that it's from a normal ocean waves, boys on the ends, girls in the center, almost always called from after that ocean wave, swing through, then spin the top. That's your standard application. Now, how do you get some variety from that? Basically, I would do work this. Let's have the heads just step forward, face your corner, seated by swing through from an ocean wave of this normal ocean wave. So swing through, spin the top. That is the standard application of spin the top. Let's do a right and left through. Okay, pass the ocean. And again, just your normal common garden variety standard application for spin the top would be preceded by a swing through. Swing through, spin the top. Okay, now how do we get some variety from just that? Otherwise you wind up all night long just doing that. I like to do this, do a right and left through, pass through, bend the line, star through. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but do a right and left through, veer to the left, Ferris wheel, sweep a quarter. No, I don't. and it gives me everybody squared up back at home, and they're not at home, and I don't really care. I would get some variety from my spin the top after I worked that a few times. Heads, do-si-do. Make a wave. Swing through. Spin the top. Extend. Swing through. Spin the top. Now go right and left through. It just, it's a little different feel. A little different feel, something we're not used to. Everybody pass through wheel and deal. Center 4, pass the ocean. Okay, here we go again. Swing through. Spin the top. Something we don't see a lot. Really, in all sincerity, we don't see that very much. We have not changed standard applications one bit. We have changed what we normally consider starting formation, in that I did an ocean wave, actually in the quarter tag formation. Go ahead.
Extend. Swing through. Boys trade. Spin the top. I'll tell you what, adding a trade puts a whole new aspect onto it from the old swing through, spin the top. Rear back. Slide through. I hate starting through. Right or left through. Pass the ocean. Hinge. All 8 circulate. Boys run. Slide through. Reverse flutter. Ladies lead Dixie style. We're out of standard already. Is there any standards from after Dixie style? Cross run is it? It's one? I just want to check on it before we did something here. Boys trade. And this is anytime the Dixie style is in your basics, but it puts us in a left-handed wave, and that's why I wanted him to look at this first, because the extended. Yeah. Okay. So that we did it right. It's standard to. I was thinking past that. I'm sorry. Start with your left hand now. Spin the top. Half left. Girls right. 3/4. Boys move up. I don't think I did what I was thinking I was trying to do here. Go ahead. Take it.
Thank you very much. Square your set. Yeah. When I work or spin the top, I like the idea of the boys trade, and I do that. I was going to lead up to that. Another thing that I use sometimes with our singing call figures, that's all we do is that head square through 4, swing through, spin the top, right and left through. But we can change that as well. Heads past the ocean. If you understand some modules at all, extend, swing through, spin the top, right and left through, star through, pass through, trade by, Alaman left. Took them across the street, did the same standard choreography. I don't like to get too far away with spin the top. Daryl Clendenin's here, he does use spin the top with the boys as center. There's nothing wrong with that, but I work them. You indeed work them, and Jerry can probably do that too. You want to do one that way? No. Okay, so yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, but it takes again some preparation that you know what in fact you're going to do. Standard applications, this is what it says, and the trades work. Jerry, do you have a call that you want to work? Oh, excuse me.
Joe Hartman from Tempe. Does the standard application of spin the top always have to start from a normal ocean wave? Could I have the boys in the center? Right-handed ocean wave, boys in the center. Yeah.
Spin the top is parallel right-hand ocean waves. Parallel. Right-hand ocean waves. Boys in the center, girls on the end.
And that's the starting position.
That is the starting position.
Now, I use everybody facing out, normal facing out, boys fold, touch a quarter. and then you got the boys in the middle, and you can call the spin top. I use that a lot.
Set them up. Show it.
Oh, heads pair off.
Go forward, face your
Touch
corner.
a quarter, walk and dodge, boy fold, touch a quarter. You got to wave.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do now? No.
No.
Boys trade.
Trade the boys.
Spin the top.
Then spin the top.
Yeah, and again, and that's a nice variety because you started off in a Z formation, basically because of the offsets on the touch a quarter. We all adjusted to an ocean wave very well, and at mainstream you can get away with that. It's good. That's a good one, and you can talk them through it because you went back to the standard spin the top. You're right, sir. That's a good one. Hinge. I forgot I was in this. All 8 circulate. Boys run around a girl. I do want to resolve because I want you to know your heads or sides. So you started, your partner. Where's your partners? You're right there? I know. I do that. I'm just making sure. Thank you. Veer left. Good. Couple circulate. Bend the line. Pass through. Wheel and deal. And side sweep a quarter. You're home.
Jerry, there's a question here.
Cliff Austin from Boonville, New York, and Sun City, Arizona. One little question I have about facing couples. It's probably an extension. Any of your spin chain through, spin the tops, fan the tops, spin chain through the gears. I have a little problem with it because I have done a lot of dances where people have broken down from facing couples, and it seems standard to me, but is anything being done about it?
By the standard applications, it is not standard now. I think that as we, again, work on these standard applications and start using the variations on spin the top, the next step would be to this. Heads, go forward. Face your partner. Turn through. Now you're looking at your corner. All right? Just so we did something different. Everybody, face your partner. All right? And this would be tough, but the boys are in the middle of this setup. And see, anytime you get in facing couples, this is as normal, this type of one, as you can get. No, it isn't quite. I'm sorry. Pass through. Where's your partner? Face your partner. Not your original, the partner beside you. Thank you. This would be as normal as you could get to call spin the top from facing couples to make it the standard application without being an ocean wave. Spin the top. Half right. Girls 3/4 and the boys move up. And that would be stretching it, just getting there before you got into the ocean wave, because it's hard enough to get him to step into an ocean wave normally without putting the boys into the middle. And yet that would be the standard application. And I think that'll change as we start using more of that. It will change. That's what I was trying to get across earlier. These standard applications are going to change as we use them and use them properly. It's going to change. It can't do anything else but. Hinge. Girls run around the boys. Veer to the right. Couple circulate. Boy, they smooth that out. Bend the line. Half sachet. Boys in front. I know you were raised polite. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Centers. Left. Square through 3. Left. Right. Left. Slide through. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Heads sweep a quarter and sides do a right and left through. And I had to give all those commands together because it was the center, so it was an easy one, and it was a little bit of variety how to get home. And the reason I was rectifying it is to give you some of those ideas of standard application to get people home just a little bit differently. Head ladies chain. Thank you. We were going to talk on some of the basics again, and the ones I wanted to look at was stars, separates, splits, and what was the other one? I don't know what it was. Head ladies chain. I know that. I'm starting over now. We're home. Thank you. Head ladies chain to the right. And I would have given that preface a little sooner. Now, they understand that. I can't find any chains other than straight across, so that I'm on extended by doing that, am I? I can chain 3/4, but I can't chain to the right or left by the standard applications, I think. True. Thank you. But it's an extension, that it's an easy extension because they chain. Once they understand directions, who they are, and that you have to have somebody to chain with. You got to somebody has to take right hands with you. I don't care if there's 3 of you, but there's got to be more than 1. Okay? 4 ladies chain, 3/4. And I forgot where I was. Let me see. The original head ladies chain to the left. Four ladies chain, 3/4. And sides, flutter wheel. And we're home. I didn't mean it to do it that way. Right and left through. Yeah. Unflutter, whatever you want to do. The separates, I was looking on the standard application, and most of you remember this. Heads pass through. Separate, go around 1, but come down the middle and square through 3. Split the outsides, go around 1, and come down the middle and slide through. Pass through. Split the outside, go around 1. Good. Touch 1/4. Untouch 1/4. Go around 1 and make a line, up to the middle and back. Touch 1/4. Boys run around a girl. Pass to the center, square through 3. Will you be happy with this one? Slide through. Yes, I know. Pass the ocean. Boys circulate. Boys cross fold. Girls step back. Sides face. Head ladies chain. Well, I had to get the sides out of the middle.
Okay. I want to take, excuse me, go ahead here. Your name, please?
Ron Marcus from Tucson. I think it's maybe a little bit out of the realm of this session, but one thing Jerry does do at dances, I've seen him do it and I researched it from him. He'll do this sort of thing where he knows he's got the head ladies across or the side ladies at home, and he'll say, and now you're home after the head ladies chain. And the dancers just kind of pick up on it and enjoy it, or now everybody's home after the sides do a right and left through.
And I knew that. I know that all the time, too.
Okay. I want to... It's kind of fun to see you get buried once in a while, you know what? Now, I want to take a call called cast off 3/4. It's a nice call. And we don't use it very much. We use it just centers in, cast off 3/4. I prefer kind of the right hand cast. I like to use that. But again, body flow and trading people sets it up so that it works so much nicer. Heads just step forward, face your corner, touch 1/4. You could indeed cast off 3/4 from here, but they've just touched 1/4, and the overflow is just awful. Also, it would set up almost immediately the fact that they're going to break down. Anytime you cast 3/4, your ocean waves from this position, your ocean waves are going to change direction. They're now at the head position. When you cast 3/4, they're going to be at the side position. You need to understand that. And when I work it, I'll just start early in the evening like this. I just had the heads touch 1/4, centers trade, swing through. With the girl in your right hand, cast 3/4 till the girls touch at the side position. Girls trade, swing through. Boy run, Ferris wheel. Centers pass through, touch 1/4. Check a wave, centers trade, swing through. With the girl in your right hand, cast 3/4 at the side position. Girls trade. I do that type of thing, and I do it a lot. I like that particular call from this type of formation. Swing through, boy run, Ferris wheel. Center star through. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. Scared me too. After, yeah. All right. Now I also like to take it one step further. And now we're talking extended maybe a little bit here, but it works really nice. But again, you want to think about your setup. How am I going to set this up so we have instant success? Head ladies chain. I didn't think that was all that funny, but it was pretty good. Okay, heads pass the ocean. Now, I'm not going to just stay put for a second. I could have you extend and cast 3/4 right from here, but it's not going to work as nice as if I do this. Let's swing through. Extend, cast 3/4, make a wave at the head position, centers trade, boys run. That quickly I'm normal. That quickly I'm normal. And that's the type of thing I look for. It isn't what you call, in my estimation, it's how you call it. How you call it. So many times you'll hear people, and I use Flippo, I guess because I think so much of him. I've heard people say, well, he didn't call anything. Oh, yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did. But he did it so well, nobody saw it. He's a master at it. Do a right and left through. Star through. Alaman left. Once again, I'll just show you what I did there. It's the setup that made that successful. Head ladies chain. Heads past the ocean. And think about the setup. That's where your success is generated from, is how am I going to set it up? Swing through. This would be my setup to make it work. Extend, cast right 3/4, make a wave, centers trade, boy run, and instantly I'm normal. They are comfortable, and I didn't leave them out long enough that it wouldn't work. Yes, sir?
My only concern was while the heads were doing all that, the sides were going to sleep.
Well, we'll wake them up when we get to them. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that. I think we worry a little too much about that. I agree with you, though. I don't like to see a whole bunch of things being done with just people standing around. The hardest thing for people to do in a square, and it's a good point you make, Rod, and it is Rod, right? A good point that he makes there is too many times, too, we can indeed just work in the middle, and the hardest thing for people to do is to stand and wait. Make sure that you do, in fact, keep everybody moving. That's a good point, Rod. I appreciate that. Do a right and left through. Star through. Okay, you're looking at your corner. Now, I would take it one step further in my evening. I'll work this through my night. Again, I'm talking a dance program. I'm not talking just one tip. Dance program. I would work till I wanted to use a get out. That's what I'm working up to. Everybody star through. I do like star through. I know. Okay. Now, again, I'm looking for flow here, and I can walk people through this. Let's pass through, do a partner trade, and a right and a left through. Ladies lead Dixie style. Boy trade. You got a left. By the left, cast 3/4, make a wave at the head position. Boy, girl. Centers trade. Left, swing through. Alaman left. Promenade home. Now, I would work all night to get to that point. Now, is that hard? No, it's probably not hard, and you could probably call it earlier. But that is one of the things that I like to use. I like setups. I like get-outs. That's the way I like to call. And when I'm looking for standard formations, if I'm going to call for dancer success, I'm looking as how am I going to set that up so they can dance it successfully. And then if I want to extend it, that's fine. I can extend it. But I'm looking at that type of thing to set up, and we're getting down on time, so Jerry.
I want you just to watch the dancers to dance this, and then I want you just to think about what I'm going to do right here. Head ladies chain to the right, and I put the music on, and we're doing a singing call. New head ladies chain across. All join hands, circle to the left. If we got that far, we're pretty good. Girls run left. Alleyman left. Promenader home. Well, I'd do the weave the ring and sing and go back home, okay? I ran into that on an old record the other day. And I used a lot of that kind of stuff. Okay, I want to one other step here. Heads lead to the right, veer to the left, couples trade, bend the line, and a right or left through. Side ladies chain diagonally. Heads diagonally, do a right or left through. And the thing that will happen already is the ladies will chain. And then they'll get halfway through the chain and realize that I didn't say chain. And it's good stuff, just to do it. You can't overdo it. I can't find diagonal anywhere except that all the dancers know it wherever I go. Do you use diagonal?
Not a lot. But you would expect that.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Pass through. Wheel and deal. Flutter wheel in the middle. Okay, pass through. Swing through. Boys, run around a girl. Bend the line. And a right or left through. Head ladies lead diagonal flutter wheel. Sides, diagonally, reverse flutter wheel. Flutter wheel. I fell into that by accident the other night, and my wife was dancing. And she was in a square right in front of me, and they did a grand flutter wheel and went to a squared up position at the end of that. And I'm saying, yes, you're in lines, and my wife is going, what do you mean lines? What do you mean lines? And she said, how else are we going to flutter wheel? And she said this from the floor, you know, of course. And I'm saying, well, straight across. I said it very quietly, too.
She could be like my wife and say, get over, Jerry.
Do a right or left through. All four ladies chain. Star girls. Courtesy turn them. Back in lines again. Pass the ocean. Swing through. I know I didn't precede this, and again, I would precede a lot of this stuff, like Jerry says, by working something else. Girls circulate. Boys run around the girl. Ferris wheel. Centers do a right or left through. I didn't get you where I wanted you. Just the boys zoom. All right. Outside squeeze in. I know I'm off the list. I would have put this in a kind of a setup right here. Centers. Square through 3. And it's still not where I wanted to be either. Do a partner trade, centers. Sorry. Shoot. When you want to do this, you can't do it. Pass through. She said, chain the head ladies. Yeah. Wheel and deal. All right. Boys separate. Everybody touch a quarter with same sex. All 8 circulate. Everybody trade. Boys run around a girl. All right. Centers pass through. Slide through. Pass through. Wheel and deal. I know I've got it. Zoom. Get out of there. Centers veer home. If you're not sure.
All right, that brings us up to 12 o'clock. We're going to eat it at 12:15, and I would open this up to questions. I'd like to have you give the square a really nice hand, both players. Are there any questions about anything that we have done? Again, as a wrap-up, we're talking about standard applications, how they are useful, and how we're looking for dancer success. And I sincerely believe, and I'll say this again, I think we call, in general, too hard for the average dancer. I'm not talking about the recreational dancer, the hobby dancer, rather, that is at your festivals and things. Those people are hobby dancers. They love to dance. They are also your best dancer. When you go home to the club, dancers like my dad dances twice a month, maybe once a month. To call some of the material that we demonstrated here, they couldn't do. So you have to be very, very careful with your judgment and how you perceive the calls. Understand what's standard, what isn't standard. Use good judgment. Jerry has a story to tell you.
I remind you, it's all in salesmanship and entertaining the people again, and how we do it. And this little story I picked up. A bank teller. You want to deposit $50? How did you get so much money? The small boy says, I sold greeting cards. Teller, you must have sold them to 100 people. Boy, no, I sold them all to one family right after their dog bit me. Remember, if we had no faults, we should not take so much pleasure in noticing them in others.
That's very true. Very true. Are there questions? Any at all? If not, we're going to let you run for dinner. I would like to have you give a nice hand to Jerry Jestin for helping on the panel.
Jerry Junck.
Thank you. We sincerely appreciate you coming not only to the sessions, but to the whole convention. We hope that you're having a nice time and that you're enjoying yourselves. That's why we came here. And again, thank you so much for coming. Bye, everybody.